Every year, millions of cruise passengers walk up to guest services, ask one simple question, and walk away having quietly taken money out of the pockets of the very crew members who cleaned their cabin and served their dinner. That question is, can you remove my gratuities? It sounds harmless. A few clicks on a form, a signature, and suddenly, a line item disappears from the final bill. But behind that disappearing charge is a system most passengers never fully understand, one that determines how thousands of crew members actually get paid. So what really happens when someone removes their gratuities? The answer says a lot about how the modern cruise industry runs, and it is far more complicated than most people assume. To understand what happens when gratuities are removed, you first have to understand what they actually are. On almost every major cruise line, a daily service charge is automatically added to each guest's account. It usually works out to somewhere in the range of $15 to $20 per person per day, though the exact figure shifts depending on the cruise line, the cabin category, and the year. This is not framed as an optional tip in the traditional sense. Cruise lines describe it as a service charge that gets pooled and distributed among crew members working in guest-facing roles: cabin stewards, dining room waiters, buffet staff, and behind-the-scenes workers like laundry and galley teams who never interact with passengers directly, but still support the experience. Here is the part that surprises a lot of first-time cruisers. That daily charge is not a bonus on top of a normal salary. For many crew members, it is a core part of their expected income. Base wages in hospitality and service roles on board tend to be modest, and the pooled service charge is designed to bring total earnings up to a livable, competitive level. In other words, the gratuity system is not an extra. It is baked into the entire compensation structure of the ship. When a passenger removes it, they're effectively asking the crew to work their shift for reduced pay. So why do people remove it at all? The reasons vary. Some travelers come from cultures where tipping is not customary and feel uncomfortable with an automatic daily charge. Others are budget conscious and see it as an easy way to trim the final bill, especially on a multi-day sailing, where the service charge alone can add up to over $100 per person. And some passengers remove it because they had a bad experience: a slow waiter, a missed request, an unclean cabin, and they view removing gratuities as a form of protest. But here's where the system gets murky. Most cruise lines pool the service charge across the entire team, not just the one waiter or steward a guest interacted with. That means if one unhappy passenger removes their charge, the financial impact doesn't fall only on the person they were upset with. It spreads across dozens of crew members who had nothing to do with the issue. A passenger trying to punish one server might actually be taking money from a cabin attendant 3 decks away who they never even met. Now let's talk about what actually happens at guest services when someone asks to remove the charge. On most ships, the process is quick and rarely questioned. Staff are typically trained not to argue or pressure guests who want it removed. Cruise lines are cautious about complaints and negative reviews, so front desk teams tend to comply without much resistance. In many cases, guests aren't even asked why they want it removed. The charge is simply adjusted, and the guest moves on with their day. That ease of removal is part of what makes the system controversial. Because there is so little friction involved, some passengers treat gratuity removal as a routine cost-cutting move, rather than a decision with real consequences for someone else's paycheck. Online cruise forums are full of threads with titles like "How to Remove Gratuities" or "Is it rude to remove tips?" And the advice varies wildly depending on who's answering. From the cruise perspective, the picture looks very different. Interviews and first-hand accounts from cruise ship workers consistently describe the anxiety around service charge removals. Many crew members work under contracts that separate them from their families for months at a time, often coming from countries where the income earned on a single contract can support an entire household back home. When gratuities are pulled, it is not an abstract inconvenience. It is a direct hit to money they were counting on sending home. Some cruise lines have tried to add safeguards. A handful of companies now require guests to explain why they are removing the charge or direct them toward a supervisor rather than a frontline staff member, specifically so that individual crew members are not put in the uncomfortable position of negotiating their own pay with an unhappy guest. Other lines have quietly shifted more of the charge into the base cruise fare itself, making it harder to remove entirely, precisely because too many guests were opting out. There's also a financial ripple effect that most passengers never see. When service charges get removed at scale, cruise lines sometimes adjust how tip pools are calculated the following season, or tighten the removal process to prevent abuse. In some cases, guests who remove gratuities but continue receiving service are viewed internally as a financial risk category, and ships track removal rates as part of broader guest satisfaction and cost analysis. It is a bigger data point in the industry than most travelers would ever guess. It also helps to know that policies vary more between cruise lines than most passengers realize. Some mainstream lines make the removal process almost invisible, handling it through a quick chat with guest services, or even a request submitted through the ship's app. Luxury and premium lines, by contrast, often build gratuities directly into the fare from the start, precisely to avoid this entire conversation. On those ships, there is no separate charge to remove because it was never itemized as a standalone line in the first place. That difference explains why one traveler might say removing tips is simple, while another insists their line doesn't even allow it. Both can be true because the underlying business models differ. It's worth noting that removing gratuities is not the same as adjusting them. Most cruise lines do allow guests to increase or decrease the daily charge based on their actual experience, rather than eliminating it completely. Passengers who felt exceptional service deserved more can add extra tips in cash directly to the crew members who impressed them. This dual system, a pooled base charge plus optional cash tips, is designed to reward outstanding individual service on top of the baseline that keeps the whole team afloat. Crew members often say the cash tips matter far less than people assume, simply because the pooled charge represents the bulk of their expected income, and cash extras are the exception rather than the rule. There's also a psychological angle worth mentioning. Some passengers assume that because the charge is labeled a service charge rather than a tip, it must be optional in the same casual way a restaurant tip is. But the reality on board a ship is closer to a built-in wage supplement than a discretionary reward. Removing it doesn't just express dissatisfaction with a single interaction, it reduces income for an entire team of people working long hours across multiple departments, many of whom the passenger never even saw. There's also a broader industry trend worth watching. As more travelers grow aware of how gratuity pooling works, and as social media spreads both misinformation and genuine insight about crew pay, cruise lines have started reconsidering how transparent to be about the whole system. A few have experimented with clearer breakdowns, showing exactly where the daily charge goes, hoping that transparency reduces impulsive removals. Others have leaned the opposite way, folding charges into the fare so guests never see the number at all. Neither approach has fully solved the tension between low advertised prices and fair crew pay. So what should someone actually consider before walking up to guest services and asking for that charge to be dropped? First, understanding that the money supports a wide network of crew, not just the one person a guest may have an issue with. Second, recognizing that most cruise lines already offer prepaid gratuity options at booking, which can make the daily charge feel less like a surprise and more like a planned part of the trip's cost. And third, knowing that if genuinely was a service failure, most lines have a formal complaint process that can lead to a partial refund or account credit, a route that resolves the issue without pulling income from an entire team. At the end of the day, the gratuity system on cruise ships exists because of how the modern cruise business model is built. Base fares are kept competitive, and headline prices look attractive, while a meaningful portion of crew compensation depends on that daily service charge doing its job. When passengers remove it, they are not just adjusting a bill, they are pulling on one of the load-bearing pillars of how an entire ship's hospitality staff gets paid. Understanding that connection doesn't mean every removal is wrong. Sometimes service genuinely falls short, and passengers have every right to raise it through proper channels. But for the vast majority of travelers who quietly remove the charge just to save a few dollars, the real cost is often invisible, carried by the people who spent their week making sure the trip went smoothly.